Hi, word nerds. Welcome to this podcast called The Dictionary. I am Spencer. I will be your host for today, and hopefully through the end. I hope I make it. All right. I think I have a burp coming. There we go. All right. So the first word in this episode, it is compatible. C-O-M-P-A-T-I-B-L-E. Compatible adjective from the 15th century, one capable of existing together in harmony, as in compatible theories, also as in compatible people. It can be hard to be compatible with people, not necessarily in a romantic relationship, just in general. Sometimes you're just not compatible with people. They have different personalities, then maybe you clash, and that's fine. Try not to spend time with them. Try to be compatible, or try to spend time with the people that you are compatible with. But like I've said before, maybe there's people out there who you may not be compatible with, but you can find some things that you're in common with, and you can talk about those, and that'll help you feel more connected to them, who maybe you wouldn't otherwise feel. Number 2, capable of cross-fertilizing freely or uniting vegetatively. We're talking about vegetables, maybe. Number 3, or fruits, other things like that. Number 3, capable of forming a homogeneous, or would it be homogeneous? Capable of forming a homogeneous mixture that neither separates nor is altered by chemical interaction. Number 4, capable of being used in transfusion or grafting without immunological reaction, as agglutination or tissue rejection. Yeah, if this is about putting something from one person's body into another person's body. It could be blood, it could be an organ. Are they compatible? Are your blood types compatible? Somebody needs a bone marrow transplant. Is that what they do? You got to make sure that your bone type is compatible. It's very complicated. You can't just willy-nilly put things from one person into the other person. You got to check it out. A lot of people have died because back in the day they didn't know. All right, number 5, designed to work with another device or system without modification, especially being a computer designed to operate in the same manner and use the same software as another computer. Yeah, sometimes computers aren't compatible. Compatibility is a noun. Compatible is a noun, as well as the adjective that we were talking about. Compatibleness is a noun. Compatibly is an adverb. Next is compatriot. You can say it a few ways. Compatriot, I think, is maybe how the British say it. Noun from 1611. 1, a person born, residing, or holding citizenship in the same country as another. They are compatriots. 2, synonyms are companion and colleague, as in her compatriot in academia. Yet they don't have to be from the same country or the same place, but they are at the same school, maybe, or they're studying the same things. Compatriotic, how do you say that? Compatriotic or compatriotic is an adjective. Let's see, this is from Lower Latin com plus patriota, that is a fellow countryman, and there's more at the word patriot. Next is COMPD, abbreviation for compound. Compound has been compounded to compounded. Next we have compeer, or is it just you can emphasize the first or the second syllable. I'm not entirely sure how to say the second syllable. Is it peer? Is it peer? Per? Compare. Compare. Compeer. First form, noun from the 13th century, and it's just the synonym companion. That's a much easier word to say. This is from Anglo-French. Compère literally means godfather. Your companion, your godfather. It is from com plus pater, which means father. And there's more at the word father. Next is the second form of compeer, noun from the 15th century. Synonyms are equal and peer. And compeer is also a transitive verb, but it looks like that is obsolete. So you can't say it anymore. You're just not allowed. All right, next is compel. C-O-M-P-E-L. Verb, transitive verb from the 14th century. Verb, transitive verb. Number 1, to drive or urge forcefully or irresistibly. How do you say that word? Why does my brain just not work sometimes? This is kind of an odd word. Irresistibly. That's not how you say that. Irresistibly. That is it. Okay, to drive or urge forcefully or irresistibly, as in, hunger compelled him to eat. Number 2, the cause, yes, hunger will compel you to eat. That's how it works. That's the whole point of hunger. Number 2, to cause to do or occur by overwhelming pressure, as in, public opinion compelled her to sign the bill. Number 3 is archaic, to drive together. They are compelling. Synonym is the word force. You are being forced. Hunger forced you to eat. The public opinion forced her to sign the bill. Compellable is an adjective. Let's look at the etymology. This is from Anglo-French compeller, from Latin compellere, which is com plus pellere, which means to drive. And there's more at the word felt. F-E-L-T. Felt? Like you are feeling something, or felt like the fabric. Next is, so we're tagging on with the same spelling as compel. It is compellation. Compellation. When I think of the word compilation, I think of a compilation album, but that is spelled differently, and we're not going to see that. Oh, maybe we'll see that in a couple of episodes. Maybe we won't. Oh, yes, we will. This is not spelled that way. It is compellation. It is a noun from 1603. 1, an act or action of addressing someone. And number 2 is the number 1 definition for appellation. Appellation. Etymology time. It is from the Latin compellare, which means to address, from pellare. That's what let's see, as in appellare, which means to accost or appeal to. Okay, that's that one. Now we have another word. It is compelling. Adjective from 1606, that compels. That is literally the main definition. That compels is compelling. As a. The synonym is forceful, as in a compelling personality. A compelling personality. That personality is so forceful, you just want to be connected to it. You just want to watch them. Watch their personality. Listen. Okay, number B. Number B, demanding attention. As in the example, for compelling reasons. And C, the synonym is convincing, as in no compelling evidence. Compellingly is an adverb. Next word in this episode is compend. I would want to say compend, but no, it is compend. Noun from 1596, and the synonym is compendium, which is going to be a little bit later from now. But first, we have to say compendious. Compendium, compendious. Adjective from the 14th century, marked by brief expression of a comprehensive matter. Concise and comprehensive. This podcast is comprehensive, but it is not concise. It is not compendious. As in a compendious summary. Also, the synonym comprehensive. As in her compendious knowledge of the subject. And then a synonym, there's more. So we have 2 examples and 2 synonyms. This next synonym is the word concise. Compendiously is an adverb, and compendiousness is a noun. Here we go with compendium, noun from 1589. 1. A brief summary of a larger work or of a field of knowledge, and the synonym is abstract. 2a, a list of a number of items. It's just a list. This book is kind of like a compendium. It's a list of all the words. 2b, synonyms are collection and compilation. Compilation spelled the other way, with an I. Let's see, this is a Latin word. It means saving or shortcut, from compendere, which means to weigh down, weigh together, from com plus pendere, which means to weigh, like your weight, how much you weigh, and there's more at the word pendant. And our last word for this episode is compensable. Compensable. C-O-M-P-E-N-S-A-B-L-E. Compensable. It's compensable. Adjective from 1661. That is to be or can be compensated. If you can be compensated, you are compensable, as in a compensable job-related injury. Compensability is a noun. So the words today, the words in this episode were compatible, compatriot, comped, compere, compel, compellation, compelling, compend, compendious, compendium, and compensable. I think maybe I will pick compatible as the word of the episode. The word of the episode is compatible. You may not think you're compatible with anybody, but you are. You just gotta go out and find him. Don't get worried, don't get frustrated, but you can if you want to. But just keep on moving forward and find those people that you are compatible with. I think it's time to read the holidays. For November 6th, the day that this episode is airing, it is Gustavus Adolphus Day. It is International Day for Preventing the Exploitation of the Environment in War and Armed Conflict. There's a lot going on there. In India, it is Bhai Dooj, B-H-A-I. Next word, day, D-U-J. I combined D and J for day, Dej. I don't know. In Sweden, it is Day of Gustav Adolf. That is Gustav Adolphus. He was a former king, I guess. Relatedly, Finland, so that was in Sweden. Finland is celebrating Finnish-Swedish Heritage Day and Gustavus Adolphus Day. And I'm not even going to try how to say it in their language because that's going to be interesting. In Dominican Republic, it is Constitution Day. Fun holidays in the U.S. Basketball Day. Yesterday was Football Day, American Football Day. So is tomorrow going to be like Baseball Day or Soccer Day? Something? It is Birth of the Bob. Bob, B-A-B. I think this might be possibly Baha'i, but I could be wrong about that, so don't quote me on that. It is Book Lovers Day. It is Learn to Home Brew. That could be beer, that could be cider, it could be other things. Oh, look at this. Yesterday's episode, we were talking about compasses. It is Marooned Without a Compass Day. You don't want to do that. Like I said, maybe I should just keep a compass on me. National Bison Day. Bison are similar to buffalo. It is in Canada, National Ladies Learning Code Day. Ladies, learn that code. Take over the jobs from all the dudes. National Nachos Day. National Saxophone Day. I played the saxophone for like 10 years of my life. Maybe I'll play it again in the future. I would really like to. Go listen to some saxophone music. Oh, I can recommend go find the music of the Nuclear Whale Saxophone Orchestra. Maybe I'll put in a clip here. Maybe I won't. You'll have an answer by the time you hear this. National Wine Tasting Day. It's the first Saturday of November. Go do some wine tasting. What is this? Numbat? World Numbat Day. It's not? Okay. It is spelled Numbat, Numbat. It is not wombat. That's different. But it is an animal, and it kind of looks like a squirrel, but a different kind of squirrel, and part of it is striped, and its nose is pointier. We're gonna maybe have to post a picture of a numbat, even though it doesn't start with a C. I am very curious about this creature. All right, any more holidays? Fun holidays. National Team Manager Day. We got all the other stuff. I think that's good for this episode. It was great. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Are you a word nerd, or are you just here because you're curious about hearing somebody read the dictionary? If you are curious, go ahead and listen. I hope this will be a satisfactory episode to your liking. If not, maybe you can go back. Maybe I should send you to, what is it? Episode 1000. That was October 30th is when it aired. October 30th, 2021. Maybe that was a fun episode for you to listen to. I don't know. Maybe the next one. Maybe the previous one. Maybe a different one altogether. What's your favorite episode? Let me know. Actually, just go start at the beginning. All right. The first word. Oh, I need to say, what do I got to say? This is Spencer commencing with the reading. Nah, that didn't work. All right, the first word in this episode is compensate. 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 Compensate? Verb from 1646. We are starting with transitive 1. To be equivalent to, and the synonym is counterbalance. 2. To make an appropriate and usually counterbalancing payment to, as in compensate the victims for their loss. I think that is a good thing to do. Reparations is a thing that has been talked about a lot here in the States, possibly other places too, and that is all about compensating the people the descendants of the people who were negatively affected by slavery and all the other things that came along with that, segregation and everything. And people say slavery is over. People say segregation is over. And to an extent that might be true, but the problem is that all of those things had effects that it's just so frustrating. They had effects that have lasted for decades, generation, couple of centuries. And the problem is a lot of people just don't realize that. They don't realize that people are still have crappy life situations. Ooh, I almost sweared there. They have crappy life situations because of what happened all those many, 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 many years ago. It's still a problem. So that is why things like reparations and other stuff need to happen. That's all about compensating for the things that happened before. Okay, 3A, to provide with means of counteracting variation. 3B, to neutralize the effect of. And the example would be variations, to neutralize the effect of variations. So those were transitive. Now we have intransitive. 1, to supply an equivalent. This is used with the word for, F-O-R. Compensate for. We're not going to go there. Number 2, to offset an error, defect, or undesired effect. As in, his enthusiasm compensates for his lack of skill. That sounds like they're talking about me. I am so enthusiastic about things, but I have no skill in them whatsoever. Okay, number 3, to undergo or engage in psychological or physiological compensation. And another synonym for everything is the word pay, P-A-Y. Compensative, you can say it that way. That is an adjective. Compensator is a noun. That is the one who is doing the compensating. Compensatory. Compensatory is an adjective. Moving on to compensation. This is the thing that happens when people are compensated. It is a noun from the 14th century, 1a, the act of compensating, or the state of being compensated. 1b, correction of an organic defect or loss by hypertrophy or by increased functioning of another organ or unimpaired parts of the same organ. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about this for a second. If somebody is blind, if they can't see with their eyeballs, their body will compensate by heightening their other senses. Obviously, the biggest one would be hearing. Their hearing just goes through the roof and they can hear way better. But I'm sure, as I've mentioned before, I'm sure the other ones change as well. Scent, they can probably smell way better. Yeah, so your body will compensate. If you are using, if your one leg hurts, you are going to compensate and lean the other direction, and your body is just going to get kind of out of whack, right? So yeah, it's just something that happens. Okay, 1C, a psychological mechanism by which feelings of inferiority, frustration, or failure in one field are counterbalanced by achievement in another. Yeah, that is a big topic, but yeah, if you are feeling inferior in some way, you may compensate either consciously or unconsciously by going in another direction and being real good in that way. That's a fascinating conversation that we could probably talk to a lot of people about. We as in me, or you and me. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about people. No, let's talk to people who are compensating for things. Maybe they're really good at something because they're feeling inferior in another way. Does this ring true to you? I don't know. All right, 2A1, something that constitutes an equivalent or recompense. Recompense? As in, age has its compensations. That's deep. 2A2, payment to unemployed or injured workers or their dependents. Yes. 2B, synonyms are payment and remuneration, as in working without compensation. You don't want to do that. If you do something, you might as well get paid for it. I guess that's what people say. Compensational is an adjective. Next is compensatory education. Compensatory, second word, education. Noun from 1965. Educational programs intended to make up for experiences lacked by disadvantaged children. So the experiences that they might be making up for would be cultural. So I guess, is this saying that there are people who are disadvantaged, they have lacked some sort of cultural experience, and so compensatory education would be teaching them about those things that they missed out on, I guess. Okay, next word is compare. This is not the word where you're comparing and contrasting. This is spelled Compere, or you can put an accent on the first E, which is up on the left and down on the right. Compare. Noun from 1914. It is a French word, but it is a chiefly British definition, which says, the master of ceremonies of an entertainment. And then the example would be a television program. I think it's funny how they said, of an entertainment. It's just the thing. It's just the entertainment. It is that compare. Yeah, no, I'm in America, so I have not heard of this. The French word compare, it literally means godfather. We have seen this before. The master of ceremonies is the godfather. There's more at the word. Oh, here we go. We read this yesterday. Compeer, Compeer, can also mean companion or equal or peer, but that had the same etymology. Oh, that was the first form of compare, spelled this way. Now we have the second form. This one is the verb, starting with transitive. It's from 1933. Chiefly British, again, to act as compare for. So if you are acting as the compare, the master of ceremonies, the MC, you are comparing. And then the intransitive definition is also chiefly British. It says to act as a compare. Okay, so they're very similar. If you were acting as the compare, you are comparing. If you were acting as the compare for something, you would still be comparing, but it's a different way the word is used. I'm not going to talk about transitive and intransitive again. I've talked about that in the past. But they're different. One is happening to, one is happening for, I don't know. Okay, next word is compete. This is an intransitive verb from 1620. It's kind of a long, it's mostly examples. To strive consciously or unconsciously for an objective. The examples are as position, profit, or prize. You are consciously or unconsciously striving for something. You are competing. And then more to the definition is be in a state of rivalry. Rivalry. As in the examples, competing teams. Also, companies competing for customers. This is from the Lower Latin competere, which means to seek together. You are together seeking the same goal. That is what competing is. From the Latin, I guess it's the same word, to come together, or agree, or be suitable. So you are seeking together, you are coming together, you are agreeing, but you are, the definition that we think of as compete is you are competing against each other, even though it's all about coming together. Let's change the definition. Let's have it be come together to strive for the same goal together and not against each other. But, sports games would be very different if we changed that whole thing. This is from com plus patere, and patere means to go to or seek. And there's more at the word feather. Next is competence. This is a noun from 1605. 1. A sufficiency of means for the necessities and conveniences of life, as in, provided his family with a comfortable competence. That is a quote from Rex Ingamels. Rex Ingamels. Number 2, the quality or state of being competent, as 2a, the properties of an embryonic fluid that enable it to respond in a characteristic manner to an organizer. I was kind of confused by that. 2b, readiness of bacteria to undergo genetic transformation. That bacteria is so competent at undergoing genetic transformation. And number 3, the knowledge that enables a person to speak and understand a language, compared to the number 6 definition for the word performance. I have extremely little competence in only a couple languages. I'm not so good at that. Yes. I think I'm competent in a lot of things, but that's as far as it goes. Competent to my mind is like, you can get by. You can sort of do it. It's fine. But that's as far as it goes. And our last word, relatedly, is competency. C-O-M-P-E-T-E-N-C-Y. Competency. It is a noun from 1596, and the synonym is competence, the word that I just talked to you about. We are going to save the word competent for the next episode, so you'll learn all about that later. All right. I have to reread the words. We had compensate, compensation, compensatory education. I think that's how you say it. Compare, compete, competence, and competency. There was a couple of good ones in here. There's a couple of good ones. I am not a competitive person. We're going to learn more about competition and competitor in the next episode. So I'm not a big fan of competing. I just don't like it. I like, whenever people would be like, "Oh, let's play basketball," I'd be like, "Well, can we just play horse? It's still competitive, but it's not like It's not. It's just different. It's more casual. I like that. I also like compensate or compensation. Compensation is more of a fun word. So let's pick compensation as the word of the episode. You should be compensated for the things that you do. Compensation is a word. Hey, that's just the way the songs come out sometimes. All right, let's talk about the holidays. It is Commemoration Day in Tunisia, which is the anniversary of Ben Ali's succession. In Hungary, it is Hungarian Opera Day. It is International Inuit Day. Those are the people in your neighborhood. The Inuit people amplify their voices. So go learn about them. In North Catalonia, France, it is National Day, which is after the Treaty of the Pyrenees. In Bangladesh, it is National Revolution and Solitary Day. In the Soviet Union, formerly the official, but now it's modern-day Belarus and Kyrgyzstan, it is October Revolution Day, but it's November. With the Lotha Naga people of India, it is Toku Imong. All right, what other holidays does this page have to say? Oh, yes. It says Daylight Savings Time ends. That is in the United States, also Cuba, also probably other places. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Let's see. Russia has Tankers Day. Brazil has Radialist Day. And let's go to the fun holidays. Okay, so yesterday we had birth of Bab, which I said I think was Baha'i, and now I feel even more convinced that it is, because today is birth of Baha'u'llah, which is showing the picture of the Baha'i temple in India, which is I think they call it the Lotus Temple. It is a very beautiful temple. They make it look like a lotus flower. I have actually seen this in person because luckily for work, I got to go to India for a bit, and we just happened to go to the city where this temple is. And I live near the world headquarters Baha'i Temple in America, and so it's very, very cool to that. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not Baha'i, but I think there's a lot of things that I like about it. Anyway, Hug a Bear Day. Don't go hug a live bear. That's maybe not the best idea. There's a couple of domesticated bears out there that might be. There's a couple of domesticated bears out there that maybe you can care about and hug. I don't know. Little League Girls Day is today. National Bittersweet Chocolate with Almonds. National Canine Lymphoma Awareness Day. Notary Public Day. End of Daylight Savings Time. Zero Tasking Day. And we'll check this one more page. National Cancer Awareness Day. That's a big one. All the cancers, be aware of that. So here it says it says Daylight Savings Day. It also says Daylight Savings Ends. I've always been confused by Daylight Savings Time starts and Daylight Savings Time ends, and I never knew, is it the one in the spring or the one in the fall? Is it starting? Is it ending? I never knew. Doesn't really matter. Because it's all arbitrary, isn't it? And we just need to pick a time and stick with it. I'm done. I'm done with Daylight Savings Time. I don't know about you. All right. I think I have read all of the things that I am supposed to read to you that they have told me that I need to say. Yes. I think that's it. Can't think of anything else that I should say. I want to say more things, but I can't think of anything. Let's just put the microphone real close to your mouth and let's make this kind of ASMR. This is terrible. We're going to end the episode. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. What's up, word nerds? Welcome to this podcast called The Dictionary. This is the last section of page 253. If you could review this podcast, rate it and review it in whatever way that you can, I would surely love that. Because That's how we get validation, and that's how things like this succeed. And obviously, I just want every single person in the world to listen to this podcast. What are the other things? You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at dictionarypod, and you can send me an email, dictionarypod@gmail.com, if you want to say something to me. There's a Google Voice number you can call and leave a message, and I maybe play it, but at the very least, I'll listen to it. I swear I'll listen to it. But if you also want to send me an audio recording on your voice memo app or something like that, that might be slightly higher quality than a phone call, or much better quality, actually. Those are the things. Okay, subscribe, share, let other people know about this podcast. All right, so the first word in this episode is competent. 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 That tent is not doing a good job. It is not a competent tent. Okay, this is an adjective from the 15th century. 1, proper or rightly pertinent. Proper or rightly pertinent. Number 2, having requisite or adequate ability or qualities. And the synonym is fit, as in a competent teacher. Yes, we need competent teachers. You cannot be incompetent. Is that the word? Incompetent? Also as in a competent piece of work. Number 3, legally qualified or adequate, as in a competent witness. 4, having the capacity to function or develop in a particular way. Specifically, having the capacity to respond to an antigenic determinant. And the example of your capacity to respond would be as by producing an antibody. So what is this talking about? The example is immunologically competent cells. Those cells are immunologically competent, which means they have the capacity to respond to an antigenic determinant. The synonym for everything is the word sufficient. Competently is an adverb. And I just remembered there was... Oh, yeah, we did that. Okay. Next word in this episode is competition. Noun from 1579. 1, the act or process of competing. Synonym is rivalry. Rivalry. As 1A, the effort of 2 or more parties acting independently to secure the business of a third party by offering the most favorable terms. What a highly specific, dry definition. That's what we're here for. 1B, active demand by 2 or more organisms or kinds of organisms for some environmental resource in short supply. Yeah, how much do we want to say about these things? Let's see. Plants, animals, creatures in a habitat, they are competing for the same resources. Usually they find a happy medium. Humans are not so good at that. And number 2, a contest between rivals. It is a contest, and we are rivals, and we will compete. Also, one's competitors are the competition, as in faced tough competition. Let's see, I think there is no etymology that I want to read, so we are going to move on to competitive. Adjective from 1829, 1, relating to, characterized by, or based on competition, as in competitive sports. Number 2, inclined, desiring, or suited to compete, as in a competitive personality. Also as in salary benefits must be competitive. That is a quote from M.S. Eisenhower. Yes, it's probably good to have competitive salaries. You want to pay people what they deserve, and you want to get the people, because if there's good people out there, you want them to work for your company or be part of your team. Yeah, I don't like talking about money, but yes, pay people what they are worth. Pay people good. And number 3, depending for effectiveness on the relative concentration of 2 or more substances. depending for effectiveness on the relative concentration of two or more substances, as in competitive inhibition of an enzyme. Competitively is an adverb, and competitiveness is a noun. Oh, I just watched that movie Game Night. They are very competitive. Okay, next is competitor, noun from 1534, one that competes. As A, the synonym rival. Rival? That word does not sound right. Rival. You are my rival. You are my competitor. I will defeat you. And B, one selling or buying goods or services in the same market as another. C, an organism that lives in competition with another. I think it's pretty good to have some level of competition. I think that it spurs growth and change. But when it gets when it gets too serious, I'm just not a big fan of that part. Compilation is next. That is our next word. Noun from the 15th century. I guess some people say compilation. Compilation. Number 1, the act or process of compiling. That's where that other form would come in. Compilation. You're compiling all the stuff. Number 2, something compiled, as in a compilation of hit songs. If you get this compilation of songs, you will get this song, like the word compile. Compile, let's sing a song about compile. This is a verb, a transitive verb from the 14th century. 1, to compose out of materials from other documents. Taking the stuff from that document and you're compiling all the important information into this other document. Number 2, to collect and edit into a volume. 3, to build up gradually, as in compiled a record of 4 wins and 2 losses. 4, to run as a program through a compiler. That would be like a computer program. Let's see, this is from the Latin compilare, which means to plunder. So when you are compiling information together in whatever form it is, whatever of these 4 definitions, you are plundering it. You can say, I am going to plunder this document. All right, next is compiler. You could also say that you are the plunderer. This is a noun from the 14th century. 1, one that compiles. 2, a computer program that translates an entire set of instructions written in a higher level symbolic language into machine language before the instructions can be executed. And the example of that symbolic language is C, the letter C, a capital C. Next word in this episode is complacence. C-O-M-P-L-A-C-E-N-C-E. Noun from the 15th century. 1, calm or secure satisfaction with oneself or one's lot, as in self-satisfaction. Number 2 is obsolete. The synonym is complacence, which we should be seeing that pretty soon. Complacence. Number 3, the synonym is unconcern. Next is complacency. Noun from 1650. 1, self-satisfaction, especially when accompanied by unawareness of actual dangers or deficiencies. 2, an instance of complacency. Next is complacent. Adjective from 1760. 1, marked by complacency. Synonym is self-satisfied. As in the example, a complacent smile. Ooh, that is not a smile you want to get, I don't think. Number 2 is the number 1 definition for the word complacent, spelled C-O-M-P-L-A-I-S-A-N-T, complacent. And number 3, the synonym is unconcerned. Complacently is an adverb. I think this word, let's read the etymology first. It is from the Latin verb complacere, or something like that, which means to please greatly. To please greatly. See, this doesn't make sense to me. That is from com plus placere, which means to please, and there's more at the word please. But when I think of being complacent, I think it has some more negative connotations. You're just complacent. You're just neutrally or even under neutrally content with the situation, with whatever it is. You're just complacent. You're just like meh. So pleasing greatly doesn't really make any sense to me. But maybe there's other versions, other definitions, other uses of the word that I don't think of. But that's where my brain goes. What about you? Next word, complain. This is an intransitive verb from the 14th century. 1, to express grief, pain, or discontent, as in complaining about the weather. Man, I try not to complain, but I know I do. I know I complain, but I really, when you think about it, there's nothing to, you really don't need to complain. You can maybe talk about it. I think the thing about complaining is that it puts you in I feel like it puts you in a negative headspace. You're focusing on the bad. You're focusing on the negative. That's what I don't really like about it. And I think it's so much better to focus on the positive. I was actually just listening to a podcast. I think it's called The Happiness something. I'll talk about it later. But The Happiness Lab. The Happiness Lab. The Happiness Lab. I've been binging it from the beginning recently because I think it's a fascinating topic. There's a woman at Yale who's teaching this class about happiness, and so she talks about all different levels of that and goes deep. But there was one episode where they were saying, think positively all the time. That's what a lot of people have said. But there's a lot of evidence, scientific evidence, that actually says you don't need to do that all the time. It's good to sometimes focus on the negative, so then you're prepared for it. That's a good thing. This went a little off track. I don't know where I'm going with this. Let's get back on track. I was talking about complaining, but yeah, I think when you're actively complaining about something, you're actively getting into a negative headspace, and that I think takes it to another level. I'm not so sure if that's a great thing. You will be happier if you were focused on the positive things, right? Oh, the weather is so crappy, but at least this got to happen. Find the silver lining. All right, number 2, for complain, to make a formal accusation or charge. Complainer is a noun. Complainingly is an adverb. This is from Latin complangere, which is com plus plangere, which means to lament. Lament. And there's more at the word plaint. 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 What is that? Okay, this is our last word for this episode. Get ready for it. It is complainant. 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 Noun from the 15th century. 1, the party who makes the complaint in a legal action or proceeding. And 2, one who complains. They complain so much, they're the complainant. All right, so the words in this episode today were competent, competition, competitive, competitor, compilation, compile, compiler, complacence, complacency, complacent, complain, and complainant. Oddly, a lot of these words I personally try to avoid as much as I consciously can, which is not a lot. Complaining, being complacent, being competitive, these are all things that I just but there were some good ones like competent. I like competent. Let's pick competent as the word of the episode. Competent. Wasn't there competent? That's I don't know. That's reminding me of something. Competent. I am sort of competent in some areas of things and stuff. All right, let's talk about the holidays. It is New South Wales. No, that's not how you say this. In New South Wales, in Australia, it is Intersex Day of Remembrance. That is a big one. I can't even imagine. I can only imagine what exactly that entails. In the European Society of Radiology, it is International Day of Radiology. But if it's international, then it's all over the world. So your European Society of Radiology, you can't claim that for your own. All of us can celebrate this International Day of Radiology. In Canada, it is National Aboriginal Veterans Day. In the Eastern Orthodox Church, it is Synaxis of the Archangel Michael and the other bodiless powers of heaven. It is World Urbanism Day. Not sure what that entails exactly. In the U.S., it is National STEM Day. STEM, S-T-E-M, all caps, science, technology, engineering, and math, I think. That is what we need to push for. We need more people getting in that world, and we'll throw art in there as well. In Australia, National Recycling Week starts. Yeah, recycling. All right, fun holidays here in the U.S. Not always fun. I don't know what this is. It is Abet and Aid Punsters Day. This seems British to me, but I have no idea. Cook something bold today. Well, it's just called Cook Something Bold Day. It's also known as Cook Something Bold and Pungent. National Ample Time Day. I never have ample time. National Cappuccino Day. A lot of people don't know the difference between all the different coffee drinks that you can get. And the only reason why I learned them, because I wasn't a coffee drinker, still not a big coffee drinker, I only learned about those when I started working at a cafe. A latte is espresso with milk, steamed milk. But a cappuccino, you got to get a lot of the froth. You got to froth up that milk real good. So then you mix in the milk and the espresso, but then you put a whole bunch of froth on the top. And personally, I never understood this. I don't get the thing about the froth. I feel like it's just a waste. That's just my opinion. This is my day, National Dunce Day. It's also National Harvey Wallbanger Day. It is National Parents as Teachers Day. Parents, teach your kids good stuff. Here we have National STEAM Day. So it's National STEM Day, but they added the A for art. So it's National STEAM. World Orphans Day. There are lots of orphans out there who need families and homes, so help them out, please. World Pianist Day. That's the people who play the pianos. World Town Planning. Oh, that's what World Urbanism, it's also known as that. X-Ray Day. This is all related to radiologists. They take your X-rays. Lastly, it is International Tongue Twister Day. There are some good tongue twisters out there. Toy Boat is it's probably the shortest one out there, but somehow it is so easy to get your mouth all messed up on the Toy Boat. Say it over and over again, you're going to get messed up. Toy Boat, Toy Boat, Toy Boat, Toy Boat, Toy Boat, Toy Boat. See what happens? Another good one that I've always loved is Rubber Baby Buggy Bumper. Rubber Baby Buggy Bumper. All right. I think that's it for today. I think. All of my episodes are getting close to 20 minutes because I've added the holidays and I just talk a lot more. And that's just the way it goes. This whole thing is evolving. What's going to happen when we get to the letter D? I don't know. I'm going to have to do something new, I think. All right, I'm going to end the episode because I really have to pee. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Goodbye, word nerds. Welcome to the episode. I think that we can start just right away. I always want to say stuff, but maybe I shouldn't say stuff. I should just get right into it. Top of page 254. Hello, how are you doing, page? I think I'm going to put a little bit more effort into getting guests when I get to the letter D. So I'm trying to think ahead a little bit. Do you care? All right, the first word in this episode is complaint. C-O-M-P-L-A-I-N-T. Noun from the 14th century. 1. Expression of grief, pain, or dissatisfaction. I am so grieved or pained or dissatisfied by this thing. I have to express it out to the people. 2A. something that is the cause or subject of protest or outcry. To be, a bodily ailment or disease. Oh, I have a lot of those. I have a lot of bodily complaints. 3, a formal allegation against a party. That could be a literal party, people making lots of noise and having fun and whooping it up. People complain about that, but it could also just be a group of some kind. All right, now we have complacence. So this, well, I'll just read it and then we'll chat about it. Let's have a nice little chat. This complacence word is a noun from 1651, disposition to please or comply, and the synonym is affability. Let's see. Let's actually talk about complacent next, just to round out the whole picture. Complacent, adjective. Wait, is there any? No. Okay, so complacent, adjective, 1638. 1, marked by an inclination to please or oblige. 2, tending to consent to others' wishes. And a synonym is the word amiable. Complacently is an adverb, and let's see, it's French from complaire, which means to gratify or acquiesce. That's good for that. So basically the idea of complacent or complacence, I think complacency, would that be a word? I don't know. But it sounds like it's trying to make other people happy. I also have the idea in my head of like, oh, I'm just complacent with that. Like, it's just fine. I think we had a word, was it yesterday or the day before? There was something similar to that. Yeah, complacency. That's what we talked about yesterday. But I think it's funny because it's so similar, at least from a spelling standpoint, which obviously we know means nothing. But it's so similar to complaint and complaining. That's the opposite. This is not good enough for me, so I'm going to complain about it. And I just find that so fascinating that they're so similar, sort of, but so different in that way. Is it just me? All right, now let's move on to the word complete. But it is spelled compleat. We are normally used to the word complete spelled complete, which is in tomorrow's episode. So what is this complete word spelled with an EAT? You get to eat something. It is an adjective from 1526. I guess if you eat your whole plate of dinner, you have completed it. Get it? All right. Having all necessary or desired elements or skills. And the synonym is, complete, spelled the other way. And then also the synonyms classic and quintessential. So it's basically the same word, I guess. We'll see what the word complete gives us later. Having all necessary or desired elements or skills. The etymology, it is the archaic variant of the word complete. It tells us right there. And it is, I guess, from, or the example would be a book or a story or something called The Complete Angler, spelled the EAT way. That is from 1653. Interesting. We read earlier that this word is from 1526, but maybe that was the most common way it was used in this book. I don't know. Anyway, it is a book or something from 1653 by Isaac Walton. Isaac spelled with a Z. Yes, there we go. We did that one. All right, now let's move on to complected. Complected, adjective from 1785. We have one short definition, but then we have a big paragraph of usage information. We haven't seen that for a while. So it means having a specified facial complexion. You are complected, as in a tall, thin man, fairly dark complected. That is a quote from E.J. Kahn, Kahn. It's just an irregular form of the word complexion. So, usage stuff. It says, this is interesting. Okay, not an error, nor a dialectal term, nor non-standard, all of which it has been labeled. Complected still manages to raise hackles. So that was all one sentence. We'll get into more, but I just want to focus on this sentence for a second. Why did they word it this way? Not an error, nor a dialectal term, nor non-standard, all of which it has been labeled. So the word complected has been labeled as an error word, like it's a wrong word, or a dialect, or just a non-standard version. But no, the dictionary is saying it's not any of those things. But it still does raise hackles in people. It means it pisses people off. It gets their, and we can use a phrase that I won't use here, but it gets them all riled up about this word. Okay, so let's read more. It is an Americanism, apparently non-existent in British English. Its currency in American English is attested as early as 1806 by Meriwether Lewis, and it appears in the works of such notable American writers as Mark Twain, O. Henry, James Whitcomb Riley, and William Faulkner. The synonym complexioned, recommended by handbooks, appears now to be somewhat more common than complected in both literary and journalistic use. So a lot of people don't like this word, but some people do like this word. That's what I have learned. Okay, we are on our last word. It is complement. We have two forms. The first one is long. The second one is short. It is spelled complement. First form, noun from the 14th century. 1a, something that fills up, completes, or makes perfect. It complements it. 1b, the quantity, number, or assortment required to make a thing complete, as in the usual complement of eyes and ears. That is a quote from Francis Parkman. I am so curious to know what Francis was talking about. The usual complement of eyes and ears. Yes, that person had those usual things that we see on people's faces. Eyes, ears, nose, mouth. But when you think about it, they look weird, especially noses and ears. They're very strange. We have more to this 1b definition, especially the whole force of personnel of a ship. It's called the complement. 1c, one of two mutually completing parts, and the synonym is counterpart. So two things they fill each other up. I'm thinking of the Shel Silverstein book, The Missing Piece. They are complements. They are counterparts. They make each other a whole when put together. 2a, the angle or arc that when added to a given angle or arc equals a right angle in measure. And we have a visual explanation of this. How am I going to do this? I should probably post a picture. Maybe I'll draw it out. I haven't done that. That would be kind of fun. So we have a right angle. A right angle is 90 degrees. If you look at your wall, two walls come together. They're perpendicular, more than likely. That is a right angle. So in the right angle, at the very top is letter A. That's the one end. The point where they meet is C, and the other angle going off in the other direction is B. So we have an ACB angle, and then there is a line going off in another direction in between A and B, and the end of that line is D. So there's an arc from A to B, a curved, it's like a quarter of a circle, and then D is sitting on a point in that arc. So complement the 2A definition that we just read. It says ACB is the right angle. ACD, it's a smaller than right angle, very small. That is the complement of DCB. So you put ACD next to DCB, they combine together to make a right angle. And then it says also vice versa. So DCB would be the complement of ACD. And then we have the arc AD, that's the curved part, that is the complement of DB. That's the rest of the arc to finish a 90-degree angle. Okay, let's talk about 2b. The set of all elements that do not belong to a given set and are contained in a particular mathematical set containing the given set. 2c. A number that when added to another number of the same sign yields 0 if the significant digit farthest to the left is discarded, and this is used especially in assembly language programming. I didn't even finish my word before I want to talk about the next thing. I don't know what that is. That's what I was going to say. Okay, 3. The musical interval required with a given interval to complete the octave. Bum, 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 bum. Something, maybe. 4. An added word or expression by which a prediction No, a predication. An added word or expression by which a predication is made complete. As the word president in the quote, they elected him president. And the word beautiful in the quote, he thought her beautiful. He did. 5. The thermolabile group of proteins in normal blood serum and plasma that in combination with antibodies causes the destruction especially of particulate antigens as bacteria and foreign blood corpuscles. Complement. This is a fascinating word because we talked about something that creates a whole. We talked about angles, language, programming, music, words, and science stuff, chemicals, bodily things. Fascinating. Let's look at the etymology. It is from the Latin verb complere, which means to fill up or complete. That is com plus plere or plere, which means to fill. And there's more at the word full. And our second form of complement, very last word, it is a verb from 1602, starting with intransitive, which is obsolete, and it means to exchange formal courtesies. And then transitive, number 1, to be complementary to, as in the illustrations complement the text. Number 2 is obsolete. It is the synonym complement with an I. Right in the middle there. Or almost in the middle. To exchange formal courtesy. Yes, complimenting, but yes, we usually use it with the I. Okay, so the words today were complaint, complacence, complacent, complete, complected, complement, complement. My original thought for the word complacent was more like, oh, it's fine, kind of what I talked about yesterday. But it seems more like it's trying to please and oblige, and I guess I'm like that. I just want to make people happy. Maybe I should pick that, although I really did enjoy compliment and all of its things. What did I pick yesterday? I just recorded it yesterday. Competent? Maybe I picked competent. This is... maybe we can... I don't know. We'll figure it out later. I will pick... Oh, what will I pick? I don't know what to pick. I will pick complacent as the word of the episode because I am so complacent and maybe you should be too. I think that's a good place to stop all that nonsense and let's talk about the holidays. In Pakistan, what is this? November 9th, 2021. Pakistan has birthday of Muhammad Iqbal. In Bolivia, it is Day of the Skulls. Azerbaijan has Flag Day. Independence Day for Cambodia from France in 1953. Germany, Austria, Switzerland are celebrating Inventors Day. Uttarakhand, India, is celebrating Uttarakhand Day. The U.S., I said that weird. The U.S. is celebrating World Freedom Day, but if it's World Freedom Day, then I think that it will be celebrated all over the world. Maybe we can all be free, please? Germany also has Fall of the Wall Day. Ooh, maybe this was the day that the wall came down between East Germany and West Germany. East Berlin, West Berlin. It was all the way... Wait, was it just Berlin or was it... I think it was just Berlin, right? Man, why am I blanking on this? But I do remember that when I was a kid, the wall came down. I think my grandparents actually got a part of the wall somehow. I have no idea how that happened. Also in Germany, which I don't think is the same as the falling of the wall, but maybe they're connected somehow. It is Night of Broken Glass, which is also called Kristallnacht. I think that might have been a World War II era thing, but I don't know. So go look it up if you want to know. More fun holidays. It is Carl Sagan Day. Maybe he was born on this day. Celebrate Carl Sagan. If you don't know, he was pretty astounding. Go to an art museum today day. So go do that. National Chaos Never Dies. No, chaos is always happening. National Microtia Awareness Day. Microtia. Microtia? Something like that. National Scrapple Day. Scrapple with peas. Now, I don't know what Scrapple is, but it's showing a picture of basically an English muffin with eggs and sausage and cheese, like a McDonald's Egg McMuffin, but I don't know what Scrapple is. National Young Readers Day. You young people, go read, but you old people should probably read too. It is also National Fried Chicken Sandwich Day. If somebody wants to make me a vegan one, I would love that. But yes, World Freedom Day. That is a big one. All right. So that is it for this episode. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the episode that you are going to listen to today. And I did not say word nerds correctly. I think I said word nerds. Hello, word nerds. Okay. Yes, let's talk about these woods in this episode. The first one is complemental. 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 Lutnemelmak. Complemental. This is an adjective from 1597. 1. Relating to or being a compliment. 2. Is obsolete. Synonyms are ceremonious and complimentary. That is the one with the I, which we will get to sometime. Next is complementarity. Complementarity. Noun from 1911. 1. The quality or state of being complementary. 2. The complementary relationship of theories explaining the nature of light or other quantized radiation in terms of both electromagnetic waves and particles. Ooh, that is fascinating. Complementarity. Yes, if you look at light waves, or light can be a wave or a particle, which is fascinating and breaks my brain. And, yeah, it does. Okay, next we have complementary. Adjective from 1829. 1. Relating to or constituting one of a pair of contrasting colors that produce a neutral color when combined in suitable proportions. A neutral color? What would be a neutral color? But yes, you look at the color wheel. Orange and blue are on opposite sides, and that means they are complementary. So I guess if you combine them, to get a neutral color, is that like gray, brown, something that's not another color? I don't know. 2. Serving to fill out or complete. 3. Mutually supplying each other's lack. Yes, helping you have strengths in one area and weaknesses in another, but then somebody else has the opposite. They have strengths where you're weak and vice versa, and so you can complement each other and help each other out, and that is what we should be doing all over the world. 4. Being complements of each other, as in complementary acute angles. Acute is one word, and that goes back to complement in the last episode, combining angles to get to a right angle. Okay, next is number 5, characterized by the capacity for precise pairing of purine and pyrimidine bases between strands of DNA and sometimes RNA, such that the structure of one strand determines the other. Complementarily, how do you say this word? Complementarily is an adverb, complementariness is a noun, and complementary is also a noun. Here we have complementary medicine, 2 words, noun from 1982, any of the practices, as acupuncture, of alternative medicine accepted and utilized by mainstream medical practitioners. And then also the synonym alternative medicine. In some places of the world, it's not alternative or complementary, but typically in the West, America, Europe, Canada, lots of other places, there's a certain kind of medicine that is considered the standard, but then there's these other things. We call them Eastern medicine, alternative medicine, holistic medicine, lots of other words. And then, of course, complementary medicine. But, I think they have their place. They may not do such a good job in some areas, but they're very helpful in other areas. And in many ways, they have been accepted. I have recently done some acupuncture, and I think I'm gonna pick it back up maybe at the beginning of the year because I think it's probably something that I need with my messed up muscles and bones. Okay, next is complementation, noun from 1942. 1. The operation of determining the complement of a mathematical set. 2. Production of normal phenotype in an individual heterozygous for two closely related mutations with one on each homologous chromosome and at a slightly different position. I'm not even going to try and understand that one. Next is complement fixation. 2 words, noun from 1906. It's one long definition. The process of binding serum complement to the product formed by the union of an antibody and the antigen for which it is specific that occurs when complement is added to a suitable mixture of such an antibody and antigen, and that is the basis of some tests to detect the presence of specific antibodies or antigens. And I think I said antibody or antibody. I think I said it both ways. I don't know which is the right way. Next is complementizer, noun from 1965, a function word or morpheme that combines with a clause or verbal phrase to form a subordinate clause. This is all about words and grammar, and I wish they would give me an example. Okay, we are on our last word for this episode. It is the 2 forms of the word complete. Complete. First form, adjective from the 14th century. 1a, having all necessary parts, elements, or steps, as in a complete diet. I strongly recommend that you all eat a complete diet. You have to get all of the necessary things that your body needs, which we have gotten vastly far away from. You need a lot of veggies. You need some fruits. You need the grains and the proteins and the lentils and all the things. Just make sure you get all of it and move around too. Don't forget to move around. 1b, having all 4 sets of floral organs. Floral organs? Florgans? I don't think I have floral organs. That's probably in plants, or flowers, something like that. Okay, 1c is talking about a subject or a predicate. So this is the structure of a sentence, including modifiers, complements, or objects. Number 2, brought to an end. Synonym is concluded. It has been completed. It is complete, as in a complete period of time. 3, highly proficient, as in a complete artist. 4a, fully carried out. Synonym is thorough, as in a complete renovation. 4b, synonyms are total and absolute, as in complete silence. There's never complete silence, except maybe out in space. Okay, we are on 4c, is talking about a football pass. The definition is legally caught. You can't catch it illegally, because then it wouldn't be complete. It has to be legally, and it has to be caught. You can't... Can you have a complete pass that is illegally not caught? No. Then it would be very much not complete. Okay, number 5 is talking about insect metamorphosis, characterized by the occurrence of a pupal state between the motile immature stages and the adult, and compared to the 1b definition for the word incomplete, which I'm guessing is just not complete. I don't know. Number 6 is talking about a metric space. And the depth. Ooh, my alarm is going off. That means I'm going to have to go put my laundry in the dryer in a minute, when I'm done with this recording. Okay, where were we? Metric space. Having the property that every Cauchy sequence of elements converges to a limit in the space. And Cauchy, I am guessing on the pronunciation, although I read it many months ago, it is capital C-A-U-C-H-Y. And a synonym for the whole thing is the word full. Completely is an adverb. Completeness is a noun. Completive is an adjective. Oh, there's a phrase, complete with. And that means made complete by the inclusion of. And the example is a birthday cake complete with candles. But we need to change the way that we do the candles. You can just don't blow out the candles on the full-size cake that everybody has to eat from, because all of your germs are now going to be on the cake. So maybe if you want to blow out the candles, give them their own cake, maybe a mini, maybe a full. That's up to you. And then everybody else gets the other cake without their spittle on it. Made complete. Okay. Any etymology? No. Let's read the second form of complete. This is a transitive verb from the 15th century. 1. To bring to an end, and especially into a perfected state, as in complete a painting. Although I don't know if artists are ever fully satisfied with the completeness of their work. 2a, to make whole or perfect, as in its song completes the charm of this bird. The song completes the charm of this bird. 2b, to mark the end of, as in a rousing chorus completes the show. 2c, synonyms are execute and fulfill, as in complete a contract. And 3, to carry out successfully. And the example of the thing that you are carrying out is a forward pass, probably in American football. It has been completed because it was legally caught. And then another synonym for everything is the word close. So, what an appropriate word to end this section of words. We have completed this section. So the words today were complemental, complementarity, complementary, complementary medicine, complementation, complement, fixation, complementizer, complete, and complete. I'm debating between complementary medicine because I think it has some good stuff. I'm also thinking about the word complete because it had so many things. Yeah, we'll just pick complementary medicine as the word of the episode. Complementary medicine is a really good thing to add to regular medicine. It's also called alternative medicine. I think some things would be acupuncture and chiropractor and other stuff, but those are the two big ones. All right, let's read the holidays quickly so I can go deal with my laundry. In Panama, it is Cry of Independence Day. In Turkey, it is Day of Remembrance of Ataturk. In Russia, it is Day of Russian Militia. Did they spell it wrong? No, that's probably how they spell it in Russian. Argentina, especially San Antonio de Areco, it is Day of Tradition. That is the birthday of Jose Hernandez. In Indonesia, it is Heroes Day. In Germany, it is Martingisingen. I don't know. Martinisingen. I'm sorry. In the U.S., it is United States Marine Corps birthday. It is World Keratoconus Day. What is this? It doesn't... Oh, it's dedicated to keratoconus. Oh, really? You think? Ooh. Don't look this up. It's a thing about the eyeball, progressive thinning of the cornea. Ooh. I mean, it's obviously a thing that needs to be dealt with, but you may not want to look up pictures because there's this creepy looking eyeball. World Science Day for Peace and Development. Oh, science, what can you do about that, please? In India, it is 3 things. Chhat Puja, Pratihar Sashti, and Surya Shashti. I apologize for my pronunciation. Also in Russia, Police and Internal Affairs Servicemen's Day. Fun holiday time. Area Code Day. Why is today Area Code Day? International Accounting Day. National Forget-Me-Not Day. See, this page is showing a very white family in their kitchen, but this other page is showing the flower, the Forget-Me-Not. So which is it? What is this Forget-Me-Not that we have to celebrate today? It's a funny way. Just say, don't forget. Don't forget me. Don't you forget me not. No. National Vanilla Cupcake Day. Sesame Street Day. Maybe this was the first day that they aired. I think it was 1969 that they started, many, many years ago. USMC Day. If Sesame Street would like to have me on an episode, I would accept. World Science Day for Peace and Development. We said that. Let's check this other page. No, I think we got them all. Yep, we did. We completed it. We completed this episode. Thank you to all of you who are listening, and if you would like other people to listen, you can go tell them. You can tweet about it, Facebook it, Instagram it, TikTok it, Tumblr it. I really don't know the stuff. Reddit it. Should there be a subreddit for this podcast? Do I make that? Do you make that? Do we need a Discord? Is there enough people who want to talk about this stuff? Probably not. If you want to, let me know. Send me an email, dictionarypod@gmail.com. We'll see what we can do. That's all the stuff. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. It is complete. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. It's my podcast called The Dictionary. That reminds me that I should tell you that you should make me a short little theme song, 5 or 10 seconds. You can email it to me at dictionarypod@gmail.com. Have you memorized that email address yet? Okay, today is November 11th. It is Veterans Day here in the States. I think it's also called Armistice Day in other countries, and we're going to talk about that more when we get to the holidays. So veterans, everybody who's been involved in the military of some kind all over the world, we appreciate your service. We thank you for that. I have never done it because that's not the road I took. But yes, I am grateful that other people were willing and have risked their lives for country, although I do want to come together all as one big world. Next year, on this date, it will be 11/11/22. And so, 11 plus 11 is 22, and that's kind of fun math-wise. Simple math. Okay, let's talk about the words. The first one in this episode is complete fertilizer. Complete fertilizer. Noun from 1871, a fertilizer that contains the 3 chief plant nutrients: nitrogen, phosphoric acid, and potash. How do you say that word? Potash? Potash? I didn't know that those were the 3 chief plant nutrients. Why is that hard to say? Okay, next we have completion. Noun from 1657. 1. The act or process of completing. 2. The quality or state of being complete. 3. A completed forward pass in football. They made a completion. You complete me. We have found completion. All right, next is completist. Noun from 1951. One who wants to make something complete. Just something. What would that something be? It could be a collection. So maybe there's a filmmaker who makes lots of movies and you want to own those movies on your various formats. 35 millimeter, 16 millimeter, 8 millimeter, VHS, Betamax, DVD, Blu-ray, HD, DVD, digital, all this stuff. What other formats could there be? Film strip? No. So yes, you're a completist. You want to own all the stuff or complete something. Okay, next is complex. Oy, this looks complex. We have 3 forms of this word. They're going to be pronounced a couple of different ways. Well, let's just do it. Why are we talking about it? Okay, this one is pronounced complex. Emphasize the first syllable. Complex. Noun from 1643. 1. A whole. This is WHOL. The whole thing. A whole made up of complicated or interrelated parts, as in a complex of welfare programs. Also as in the military-industrial complex. Is that why it's called a complex? Because the word complicate, it's complicated? It's a bunch of complicated stuff? 2A, a group of culture traits relating to a single activity, as hunting, process, as use of flint, or culture unit. So, group of culture traits relating to a single activity, process, or culture unit. And then hunting and use of flint were examples. 2B1, a group of repressed desires and memories that exerts a dominating influence upon the personality. your personality complex. 2B2, an exaggerated reaction to or preoccupation with a subject or situation. 2C, a group of obviously related units of which the degree and nature of the relationship is imperfectly known. 2D. 2D? 2D. The sum of factors as symptoms characterizing a disease or condition. 3. A chemical association of two or more species joined usually by weak electrostatic bonds rather than the covalent bonds. And the examples of these species, I would never have called these species, they are ions and molecules. So yeah, we're talking about the very, very tiny stuff. The chemicals, ions, molecules, combined together with the weak electrostatic bonds. That is a complex. Number 4, a building or group of buildings housing related units. What? A building or group of buildings housing related units, as in an apartment complex, also as in a sports complex. I have not probably made this clear in a while, but I'm just a guy who doesn't know a lot of stuff, and so that's partly why I'm reading this book and recording it, so I can learn more things, and maybe you can learn more things, but I don't have expertise in really much of anything, so I hope you are learning along with me. Let's look at the etymology for complex. That's from the Lower Latin complexus, which means totality. From the Latin word, I guess, also complexus, which means embrace. That's good for that. Now we have the second form. You can pronounce this complex, again, or complex. Complex. Adjective from 1645, 1a, composed of two or more parts, and the synonym is composite. 1b1 is talking about a word. We're talking about lots of words here. The definition says, having a bound form as one or more of its immediate constituents. Having a bound form as one or more of its immediate constituents, as in the example, unmanly is a complex word. Yes, if you dig into it, what does it mean? What connotations does it have? Societally, culturally, literally? That's a very complex word. 1b2, I think that's where we're at, is talking about a sentence consisting of a main clause and one or more subordinate clauses. Not the Santa Clauses. Number 2, hard to separate, analyze, or solve. 3, of, concerned with, being, or containing complex numbers, as in a complex root, also as in complex analysis. Analysis is already complex. Why do we need to make it more complex? Let's see. This is also from the Latin verb complecti, which means to embrace or comprise. And then in parentheses, it says a multitude of objects. Comprise a multitude of objects. From com plus plectere, which means to braid. Interesting. So we're combining all these things like a braid. I remember when I was a kid, I learned how to braid. I think I was in a ceramics class. You know, you take 3 strands and you put that one there and that one there and that one there and that one there. But then people can make very complicated braids with 5 or more, and it looks very cool. And there's more at the word ply. We have synonym information for complex. Let's read it. Complex, complicated, intricate, involved, and knotty. That is spelled Knotty, like a lace knot, shoe knot, a tree knot. Anyway, all of those words mean having confusingly interrelated parts. Complex suggests the unavoidable result of a necessary combining and does not imply a fault or failure, as in a complex recipe. There's a lot going on, but it's just very complicated. Oh, but here, complicated applies to what offers great difficulty in understanding, solving, or explaining, as in complicated legal procedures. Intricate suggests such interlacing of parts as to make it nearly impossible to follow or grasp them separately, as in an intricate web of deceit. Involved let's reverse. Involved implies extreme complication and often disorder, as in a rambling, involved explanation. I think sometimes things that are explained in an involved way don't usually need to be so involved and complicated and complex or intricate. Maybe try and pare it down. Just get the important stuff out. All right, and the last word for this synonym section is knotty. It suggests complication and entanglement that make solution or understanding improbable, as in knotty ethical questions. Honestly, I'm not really familiar with this word used in this way. Okay, second form of complex. This one is, what does it say? Same as the second, the two? No, sorry, that was the second form. Now we're on the third form. I think I got confused. Complex. 1658, it is a transitive verb. 1, to make complex or into a complex. And number 2, synonym is, I don't remember how to say this word, chelate. Complexation is a noun. Next, we have complex carbohydrate. 2 words. Noun from 1938. A polysaccharide consisting of usually hundreds or thousands of monosaccharide units. Also, a food, as rice or pasta, composed primarily of such polysaccharides. So, the example of the polysaccharides would be starch or cellulose, and they consist of many monosaccharides, individual saccharides. And they mix together to make up a polysaccharide. Poly means many, or multiple, or whatever. Okay, I have a general concept of this stuff, but it's always been very confusing to me. It's sometimes hard for my brain because I never studied nutrition, never really paid enough attention to it. It's hard to remember what is what in that, and how do you combine these with other foods, and it's very complicated, but you do need to get, carbs are the things that our bodies run on, right? And so, man, I really should study this stuff. And so you need to get some of it. You need to get it in your body, but you don't want too much, right? Nothing too much. Okay. Next is complex fraction. 2 words, noun from 1827, a fraction with a fraction or mixed number in the numerator or denominator or both. And then it says compare to simple fraction. What would that be? Maybe a fraction that does not have a fraction or mixed number in the numerator or denominator or both? Okay, and our last word for this episode is complexify. Complexify. Verb from 1830. It is, just a verb. Transitive is first, to make complex. And intransitive is to become complex. I don't know what to say about that. Become or make or become complex. Complexify. So the words in this episode were ready, set, go. Complete fertilizer, completion, completist, complex. Complex carbohydrate, complex fraction, and complexify. I guess I'll just pick complex as the word of the episode. Let's see if I can figure out how to say this backwards. Complex. Skelpmak. Complex. Something like that. Complex. There's just a lot going on. It's a very versatile word. I guess I kind of like it when things are complex and intricate and interesting, to an extent. I don't know. Yeah. How do you sing a song about complex? How do you sing a song about the word complex? No, I added too many syllables. How do you sing a song about complex? You do what you just did. All right, let's talk about the holidays for this last little bit. In Bhutan, it is birthday of King Jigme Singye Wanchuk. Oh, happy birthday. In Croatia, it is Children's Day. Okay, so here is the list of all the holidays that are related to the end of World War I. So we have Armistice Day in New Zealand, France, Belgium, and Serbia. I thought the UK was part of that too. In Poland, it is National Independence Day. That commemorates the anniversary of Poland's assumption of independent statehood in 1918. So that's all still part of the end of World War One. The UK and the Commonwealth of Nations, including Australia and Canada, have Remembrance Day. For some reason, I thought it was Armistice Day. And let's see, the Army, Navy, Marine, Air Force, all in the U.S. It is let me backtrack. In the U.S., it is Veterans Day. It was called Armistice Day until 1954, when it was rededicated to honor the American military, which is Army, Navy, Marine, and Air Force. Okay, it is Independence Day for Angola from Portugal in 1975. It is in Colombia, independence of Cartagena. In Latvia, it is Lakplesis Day. I don't know how to say that. If you know, you can call me up. That it celebrates the victory over the Bermotians in the Battle of Riga in 1919. Is that not related to World War I? In Germany, the Netherlands, and other countries, it just says and other countries, it is opening of Carnival, which is on 11/11 at 11/11, probably AM. In India, it is National Education Day. In the Maldives, it is Republic Day. In China, it is Singles Day. In Sint Maarten and the Kingdom of the Netherlands, it is St. Martin's Day. In Belgium, it is Women's Day. In South Korea, it is Pepero Day. All right, let's check this page. We got a lot going on today. Let's see. Veterans Day, Singles Day is also here in the States. We got that. Why is Germany celebrating Carnival? What is it? How is it different than the other Carnival? India also has World Quality Day. Let us talk about some fun holidays. It is Air Day, and it just shows a picture of some jets. It is Death/Duty Day. That is the DUTY word. Get your head out of there. Death/Duty. Don't know what that is. It is National Metal Day. I think that's metal music. National Sundae Day. That is the sweet, tasty dessert. It is Origami Day. Oh, origami is so cool. I love seeing what people make. I've only been able to make like a bird and a crane. I haven't spent time doing any other stuff. It is Pocky Day. That tasty other dessert. Chocolate on a stick. Let's see. Singles Day, Veterans Day, World Quality Day, World Usability Day. Was just use stuff. Anything else? We got those. National Education Day here in the States also. I think that's it. Think that is it for today. Oh, let's take a nap. All right, I'm going to go finish up my laundry. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye to you for now. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another riveting, exciting, amazing episode of this podcast called The Dictionary. I am your host, Spencer. That's my name. In my timeline, it has already been a very long week, and it is only Wednesday afternoon. Let's see what happens. Okay. The first word in this episode for today is complexion. COMPLEXION. Noun from the 14th century. 1. The combination of the hot, cold, moist, and dry qualities held in medieval physiology to determine the quality of a body. So, let's see. It looks like, from what I can decipher, there would be a dead body, and back in the medieval times, they would look at its hotness, coldness, moistness, dryness. You know, those are scales. Hot, cold opposites, moist, dry opposites. And that whole scale, I guess, was called the complexion. Interesting. Old science. I mean, you know, that's a real good start. 2A, an individual complex of ways of thinking or feeling. 2B, a complex of attitudes and inclinations. 3, the hue or appearance of the skin and especially of the face. as in a dark complexion. 4. Overall aspect or character, as in by changing the complexion of the legislative branch. I don't know if that's a full sentence. I feel like there should be more to that. I think there was more to the beginning. Usually they start with an ellipses, but this one did not. It just started with by changing. But it's a lowercase b, so there was more. That is a quote, by the way, from Trevor Armbrister. Trevor Armbrister. I have a feeling Trevor is British with a name like that. Complexional is an adjective, and complexioned is also an adjective. Let's see. That's good. All right, next we have complexity. This is a noun from 1661. 1. Something complex. And do I need to turn up I think maybe I'll turn it up a little bit. Okay. Something complex. Complexity. Number 2. The quality or state of being complex. Next is complex number. 2 words. Noun from 1856. A number of the form a plus b, and then it shows the square root of -1, so would that be b times the square root of -1, where the letter a and the letter b are real numbers. So a and b are real numbers, and I guess if you add in the square root of -1, it becomes a complex number. It's very complex. I don't even understand it. Next is complex plane. It is spelled Plane. This is 2 words, noun from circa 1909. A plane whose points are identified by means of complex numbers, especially the synonym Argand diagram or Argand diagram. Argand diagram. Let's hear it for the Argand diagram. Next is compliance, noun from circa 1630, 1a, the act or process of complying to a desire, demand, proposal, or regimen, or to coercion. 1b, conformity in fulfilling official requirements. 2, a disposition to yield to others. 3, the ability of an object to yield elastically when a force is applied. And the synonym for that one is flexibility. Yeah, I don't feel like compliance is used too often in that way. Next is compliancy, noun from 1643, and the synonym is compliance. Next is compliant, adjective from 1642. 1. Ready or disposed to comply. Ready or disposed to comply. Synonym is submissive, as in a corrupt regime aided by a compliant press. The regime in that area is very corrupt, and it only gets more corrupt, it only stays that corrupt because the press is compliant to let them keep on doing what they're doing, do their corrupty things. Number 2, conforming to requirements, as in compliant software. Yeah, my software better be compliant. Better do what I say. Compliantly is an adverb. Next is, I think it's complicacy. No, I think it would be complicacy. You have to emphasize the complicacy. But I want to say complicacy. That's a fun word. Noun from circa 1828. 1. The quality or state of being complicated. Have you heard this? I don't think I have. Complicacy. Number 2, something that is complicated. So it's the quality or state of being complicated, or something that is complicated is complicacy. I would love to hear this used in a sentence. All right, next we have complicate. First form, adjective from 1638. 1. Synonyms are complex and intricate. 2. The synonym is conduplicate or conduplicate. I've not heard of that word before. Well, let's see what happens when we get there. All right. Let's see. It is from the Latin verb complicare, which means to fold together, which is from com plus plicare, which means to fold. And there's more at the word ply, P-L-Y. second form of complicate. Complicate, this is a verb. I believe it is just transitive from 1672. 1. To combine, especially in an involved or inextricable manner. 2. To make complex or difficult. 3. The synonym is involve, especially to cause to be more complex or severe, as in a virus disease complicated by bacterial infection. Oh yeah, you do not want that. It's bad enough that you gotta have a virus disease, but then you gotta add in bacterial infection to that? That's gonna make things extremely complicated. For you and the doctors and the nurses, and that's not a good thing. Okay, next word is complicated. Adjective from 1656. 1. Consisting of parts intricately combined, as in a complicated recipe. And now I think we learned more about the word complicated in the last episode in the synonym section for complex, or complex, and how it's different. Complex, complicated, they're different. Okay, number 2 for complicated, difficult to analyze, understand, or explain, as in a complicated issue. Synonym, oh look at that, it's the word complex. Complicatedly is an adverb, and complicatedness is a noun. Complicatedness is a complicated word. Next is complication, noun from the 15th century. 1a, synonyms are complexity and intricacy, especially a situation or a detail of character complicating the main thread of a plot. Uh-oh. I don't know why I said it that way. Uh-oh. There is a complication in the plot. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. 1b, a making difficult, involved, or intricate. That seems worded weird to me. A making difficult, involved, or intricate. Okay. 1c, a complex or intricate feature or element. 1d, a difficult factor or issue often appearing unexpectedly and changing existing plans, methods, or attitudes. That happens a lot. You just gotta go with it. You gotta just go with it. The easier, the more quickly you can go ahead and go with the complication of whatever it is that you planned on, the more smoothly it's gonna go. You gotta be ready for anything, but you can't be ready for anything. So you gotta be mentally prepared that something's gonna happen, and you're not gonna be able to prepare for it. So you gotta just figure it out. That's just how life goes. That's what I've learned in my old age. Number 2, a secondary disease or condition developing in the course of a primary disease or condition. Again, like we talked about with the virus and the bacterial stuff, you don't want to have extra complications on what you've already got. So just don't have that happen, right? Because that's easy. Okay, next we have complice. Complice. It's very similar to the word accomplice, but I believe that starts with AC before this word that we've got now, which is just complice. Noun from the 15th century. It is archaic, and the synonym is the word associate. Yes, that is a very similar word to accomplice, from the definition. I'm not going to reread the definitions of those to you, but I think that if you go back, you will hear some similarities. Or if you have your own dictionary, you can look them up. Let's see. This is Latin from complic or complex, which means closely connected. Yes, and also from the verb complicare. Next we have complicit, adjective from 1928, having complicity. We are almost to the word complicity, but before that we have to say complicitous. Complicitous, adjective from 1860, the synonym is complicit. So complicitous takes us to complicit, and complicit is having complicity, which is our last word, complicity. Noun from circa 1656. 1. association, or participation in, or as if in, a wrongful act. There was a wrongful act, and you participated in it. You participated in it in some way, so you have some complicity. You are complicit in the wrongful act. Number 2, an instance of complicity. Okay, I think I said all the words that I needed to for this last section of page 254. Before I read the word of the episode, I will just say, if you are enjoying this podcast, I would very much appreciate it if you could let other people know that it exists. Maybe share it on Facebook, social media things, and you can tag me if you want, but you don't have to. And that would be great. I would be ever so grateful, so other people can hear this and learn all the things that I am learning, and I hope you are learning it as well. Maybe it's good for kids. Maybe it's bad for kids. Maybe it will help you fall asleep. I don't know. Okay, so the words today were complexion, complexity, complex number, complex plane, compliance. I want to see a kitchen appliance that is compliant. Compliancy, compliant, complicacy, complicate, complicated, complication, complice, complicit, complicitous, complicity. I definitely see where the word complice comes from, because if you look at the next few words, complicit, complicitous, complicity, it's very connected. A complice is somebody who is an associate of somebody who is doing the wrongful act. They are complicit together in that thing. So yeah, that word makes a whole lot of sense, but we don't use it anymore. Why don't we use it? How did it become accomplice? I don't know. I think, while I'm reading these, I have to think about which one do I like? Which ones do I not like? Which one am I going to pick for the word of the episode? So it can be a very complicated process. You see what I did there? I used one of the words in the episode in that sentence. But I do think I will pick complicated as the word of the episode. Why? I'm not sure. I think it's good when things are complicated. I think it's helpful. We can't always have things be simple. Sometimes we need complicated. And sometimes it's fun to experience something that's complicated, like a TV show or a movie or music. That can be cool. Also, back in the day, I don't know, this was probably 2002, 2003-ish, Weird Al came out with a new album, and I was looking at the list of the songs, and one of the songs was, I think, just called A Complicated Song. And my first thought was, well, that is going to be amazing. I would love to hear Weird Al's song that's just called A Complicated Song, because it will be incredibly complicated, and he's an extremely talented songwriter, both musically and lyrically. But then I realized it was a parody of, I think, the song Complicated by what's her name? You know who I'm talking about. Skater boy person? Oh my god, my brain is blanking. Anyway, it was a parody of that, and so it all makes sense. But I still would really love to hear, maybe I'll put in a little clip of his song.
So then I faced pizza all day, and every day this cheese round the clock is getting me blocked, and I sure don't care for irregularity. Tell me, why'd you have to go and make me so constipated? 'Cause right now I'd do anything to just get my bowels evacuated. In the bathroom I sit and I wait and I strain and I sweat and I clench and I feel the pain. Oh, should I take laxatives or have my colon irrigated? No.
There you go. I would still love to hear whatever Weird Al comes up with for just make something really complicated. Okay, I think it is time to read the holidays. Let's see. In the Republic of China, it is birth of Sun Yat-sen, which is also Doctor's Day and Cultural Renaissance Day. In Azerbaijan, it is Constitution Day. In Indonesia, it is Father's Day and National Health Day. In East Timor, it is National Youth Day. All over the world, it is World Pneumonia Day. So everybody needs to get pneumonia today. Of course, that is ridiculous. In New Zealand, it is Canterbury Anniversary. Let's see. This looks Italian. Well, that's not helping me. Day of Remembrance of the Fallen Soldiers and Civilians in International Missions for Peace. Ooh, yeah. I don't know where that is exactly, but the alternate name looked Italian, so maybe it's Italian. But I think it covers a lot of bases all over the world. Okay, more fun holidays. Chicken Soup for the Soul Day. Elizabeth Cady Stanton Day. She did something. Fancy Rat and Mouse Day. I didn't know rats and mice could be fancy, but now I gotta see some fancy rats and mices. It is Happy Hour Day. So I guess you can go somewhere and celebrate their happy hour, get some cheap snacks and drinks. National French Dip Day. Wow, if a place has a French dip, they can offer it for happy hour, and you get a double celebration there. Also, it's National Pizza with the Works Except Anchovies Day. How can we get a holiday made? Who makes up these holidays? Is there like a national petition that you can fill out and say, I want to do this, and then who approves this? Is it the president? Is it just your parents? How does this happen? Who came up with this? It's also known as National Pizza with... No, that's the same thing. Oh, National Pizza with Everything instead of with the Works. Yes, that could be another happy hour special. Any other fun holidays we missed? Nope. I think that is it. Ooh, I like one of the days for tomorrow. I like that. Looking ahead. Sorry, I won't look ahead anymore. All right, we have finished page 254. Oh, I gotta go do some other work now, even though I have worked many hours today, and I am pooped and my feet hurt. So I'm gonna sit down. I am sitting down. Is that enough information for you? Is this a good place to end the episode? I guess so. All right. Thank you very much for listening to this. Please go let the people know. You can talk to me on the email, dictionarypod@gmail.com, Twitter, Instagram @dictionarypod. If you want to leave me a voicemail, you can do that. There is a Google Voice number. If you're having trouble with any of these, find a way to contact me. It's not that hard to contact me. If you want to join the Patreon, there's a link. Go to Patreon and do that thing. That's good. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to this podcast called The Dictionary. I am recording this on October 16th, 2021. It is National Dictionary Day, so I really need to remember. Uh-oh, there's a spider on the ceiling. I'm going to have to check that out later. The October 16th, 2021, next year, I need to remember that this day is coming up. I should prepare for it a little bit better. Maybe I should set a reminder on my phone now. So, to me, happy National Dictionary Day. I hope that everybody is listening and sharing and all that stuff. I also want to promote our friend's new book. We have a friend named Emily Winter. She is a comedian in New York, and she just came out with a book of trivia, mostly uplifting trivia. So should I read you a couple of these? It's called One Day Smarter by Emily Winter. You can go get it on all of the places where they sell books. Preferably a local small bookstore, independently owned, would be great, I think. Okay, so let's see. What do we got? We're on a random page. The world's oldest living thing in Sweden. No, the world's oldest living thing is in Sweden and is approximately 9,550 years old. What is it? I don't know. This is great because it spurs you to go find more information about this thing. Let's see. Let's just go to a different page completely and read something else. Danishes are from Austria, not Denmark. Are you talking about the sweet, tasty Danishes? They're from Austria. I love a good cheese Danish. You want to make me some vegan cheese Danishes? I will take them. All right, so go get One Day Smarter by Emily Winter. I think on the social media she's Emily McWinter, MC. She doesn't love it, but it is what it is. Okay, let's talk about the words for today. Top of page 255. The first word is compiler. C-O-M-P-I. No, it's actually, I read that wrong. It's complier. It's not compiler. That would be a switch of the I and the L. It is complier, someone who is complying and is compliant, because we talked about all of those words recently. Complier, noun from 1660, one that complies. Yeah, I got a thing stuck in the wall. I just need some compliers to pull that out. All right, next word is compliment. First form, noun from 1598, 1a, an expression of esteem, respect, affection, or admiration, especially an admiring remark. We need more of these in the world. Give somebody a compliment. 1b, formal and respectful recognition. Synonym is honor, spelled Honor. Number 2 is plural. It's best wishes. Synonym is regards. Give my compliments, my best wishes to that person that we both know. As in, accept my compliments. Also as in, compliments of the season. This is from Italian complemento, from Spanish cumplimiento, from cumplir, which means to be courteous. And there's more at the word comply, with a Y. Yes, be courteous, compliment. Now we are on the second form of compliment. It is a transitive verb from 1673. 1, to pay a compliment to. Number 2, to present with a token of esteem. I'm pretty sure this already exists, but there's got to be a kind of mint called a compliment. But I'm pretty sure I've seen that. Okay, next we have complimentary. Adjective from 1714, 1a, expressing or containing a compliment, as in a complimentary remark. 1b, the synonym is favorable, as in the novel received complimentary reviews. It always feels good when you get those, but sometimes people don't give favorable reviews, and that's okay. Maybe you just ignore it, or maybe you learn from it, or maybe you just grow a thicker skin. I don't know how that goes. Number 2, given free as a courtesy or favor, as in complimentary tickets. Oh, we love complimentary tickets. Complementarily is an adverb. Next is complimentary close. This is 2 words. Close is C-L-O-S-E, but I don't know if it is close or close. But maybe I will figure it out when I read the definition. It is a noun from 1919. The words, as sincerely yours, that is an example of the words that conventionally come immediately before the signature of a letter and express the sender's regard for the receiver, called also complimentary closing. I didn't know that had a name. The thing that you put before your name, you could say, sincerely yours, love, from. What are other ways? What are some fun, creative ways? I don't know. I can't think of anything, but that is called a complimentary close. Now, what if it wasn't complimentary? What if it was, I hate you? That would be something else? What's the opposite of sincerely? Okay, this is too much. We're going to move on to complin or compline. Complin or compline. It is a noun from the 13th century, the 7th and last of the canonical hours. I don't know anything about these canonical hours. It is from Latin completus, which means complete, because it's the last one. Next is complot. C-O-M-P-L-O-T. First form, noun from 1577. It is archaic, and the synonyms are plot and conspiracy. Conspiracy and plot is a complot. Oh, this is from Middle French complot, which means crowd or plot. I don't know how people use this. Did people use this and then it just got shortened to plot, like the story of a thing is the plot? Also plot, that's kind of a weird word. Okay, second form of complot. So the first form was complot. This one is complot. Complot. Fancy that. It is a verb from 1579. It is also archaic, and the synonym is just plot. How are these different? One's a verb, one's a noun. That's how they're different. Next is comply. This is a verb from 1602. It is just intransitive. Number 1 is obsolete. To be ceremoniously courteous. 2, to conform, submit, or adapt as required or requested. And the example, to conform, submit, or adapt as to a regulation or to another's wishes as required or requested. You are complying to what they are requiring or requesting. We have 2 examples. Comply with federal law. If you don't, you may go to the jail. Also as in, the devices comply with industry standards. Oh, good. This is from Italian, complire, from Spanish, cumplir, which means to complete, or perform what is due, or be courteous. Be courteous. Modified from the Latin complere, which means to complete. If you are complying, you are completing the request. Okay, next is compo, C-O-M-P-O, noun from 1823, any of various composition materials. This is short for composition. It's been composed. It's a composition of things, and you can't say the whole word. You can't say composition. You just have to say compo. Okay, next is component, first form component. I guess some people also emphasize the first syllable. Component? No, you gotta say component. That's the only way that I'll allow. This is a noun from 1645. Number 1, a constituent part, and the synonym is ingredient, as in an important component of the program. But now I want to hear somebody talk about a baking recipe and all the ingredients, but they're all called components. We have another example, stereo components. To any one of the vector terms added to form a vector sum or resultant. That doesn't make any sense to me, but they're just components. It's a thing from a thing. Okay, to be a coordinate of a vector, also either member of an ordered pair of numbers. The synonym for everything is the word element. Componential, that is an adjective. This is from Latin componere, and it means to put together. And there's more at the word compound. Now we have the second form of component, adjective from 1664, serving or helping to constitute. The synonym is constituent. Constituent. Yep, it goes over to the second line, so I had to confirm that I was reading it correctly, as in component parts. Next is the word comport. C-O-M-P-O-R-T, first form, verb from 1589. So there's one intransitive definition, which is to be fitting. Synonym is accord, as in actions that comport with policy. The transitive definition is the synonym behave, but then also especially to behave in a manner comfortable to what is right, proper, or expected. I think I do that most of the time. As in the example, comported himself well in the crisis. He behaved in a comfortable manner to what is right, proper, or expected. But yeah, sometimes you can't do that. You just can't. When you believe strongly in something, when you know something ain't right, you can't comply. You can't comport. That's the word we're talking about. Again, the synonym for everything is the word behave. Oh, there's that great line. I don't know if it's probably a quote from somebody, but it's something like, "Women who behave never made history," or something like that. It's a good one. Okay, comportment. Comportment is a noun. This is from Middle French, comporter, which means to bear or conduct. From the Latin comportare, which means to bring together. From com plus portare, which means to carry. And there's more at the word fare, like the fare you pay on the train. Second form of comport, actually it would be comport. We switched the emphasis on this one. Comport, noun from 1771. The synonym is the number 2 definition for the word compote. C-O-M-P-O-T-E. Is that like I don't know. I think that one's going to be pretty soon. Doesn't matter when. Last word for this episode is compose. C-O-M-P-O-S-E. Verb from the 15th century. Starting with transitive. 1A. To form by putting together. The synonym is fashion. As in, a committee composed of 3 representatives. And that is a quote from, what is this? It's abbreviated Current Biog. Current Biogogy? Why can't I think of what that is? It's not, I think if it was like biology or something like that, it would be B-I-O-L. Anyway, we're going to move on to 1B. To form the substance of, synonym is constitute, as in composed of many ingredients. Oh, maybe it's composed of components. You see how these words are connected? Composed of many components. 1C, to produce, as columns or pages of type, by composition. To produce by composition. Compose, like music. You are composing it by doing a composition. 2A, to create by mental or artistic labor. The synonym is produce, as in compose a sonnet. 2B1, to formulate and write. And the example would be a piece of music. You have to formulate it in your head, and then you have to write it down on the paper so other people can possibly read it and perform it if that's what you want. Otherwise, you can keep it in your head and you can just perform it yourself. 2B2, to compose music for. So it's not just to compose music, it's to compose music for. We are still in the transitive section, by the way, in case you were curious. Number 3, to deal with or act on so as to reduce to a minimum, as in compose their differences. 4, to arrange in proper or orderly form. 5, to free from agitation. Synonyms are calm and settle, as in composed himself. And we have one intransitive definition, which says to practice composition. Let's see. Does the etymology say anything that we would like to pass on? Not particularly. So the words today were complier, complement, complementary, complementary close, complin or compline, complot, complot, comply, component, comport, comport, and compose. I think I've got to pick compliment as the word of the episode because you gotta compliment people. They make them feel good. People just want to be complimented. It can be very hard to take a compliment. You just have to take it with grace and gratitude. Thank you very much. But then maybe, give them a compliment or do something nice like that. Or, say, oh, yes, thank you. But this person over here is great too, and you should check out that. Okay, compliment. This is the song for the compliment. You are looking wonderful today, and you are great and smart and wonderful. All right, it's early. I'm tired. Okay, today in the U.S. it is Sadie Hawkins Day. So this is, I had to be reminded of what it was, but I have definitely heard of this. Back in the day, schools would have dances. They'd have a Sadie Hawkins dance, and that would be where the woman would go ask the guy to dance. And this is obviously an extremely genderized thing, so maybe that's partly why we're not really doing it anymore, although I'm sure there are places that are still doing it. But, as a general concept, I think this is pretty good. I think that in most cases, women should be the ones who are in the control, and the men, because men are men, and men, all male-y men stuff, they need to chill out. Just sit there. Okay, what else? We're going to save this. This is a big one. There's a big holiday today. We're going to save that one for later. It is Actors Day. All you actors, you get to not act today. Would you like that? It is, I don't know if I've ever had this, but I think I need it. It is National Indian Pudding Day. It is observed on 3 days of the year? It says it's observed annually on November 13th, also annually on February 17th, also annually on June 27th. So that would be triannually. Indian pudding. It looks, I mean, it's just an orange goop, but I think I've had it. I think it's tasty. It is National Moms and Dads Day. There's Mother's Day and there's Father's Day, but then they get to celebrate together. It is Start a Rumor Day. I don't know if I like that. That can lead to some problems. It is Symphonic Metal Day. So a metal show with a symphony orchestra. It is Wine Tourism Day. So go somewhere, don't drive, do a wine tasting, and then come back. But like I said, don't drive. Any of these? Oh my God, I just completely lost all my pages because I went and did that thing. National Hug a Musician Day. If you want to get close to the musician after they play and they're probably all sweaty, you can hug them. And then lastly, it is World Kindness Day. So just go be kind. I mean, come on. That's all we gotta be. In very few cases, maybe you don't need to be kind, but in general, just be kind. All right, that's going to be the end of this episode. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary hosted by me, Spencer. I am the one who will be reading all of this book to you. Let's see. A couple nights ago, I went and saw Rodrigo y Gabriela in Chicago, and they are amazing. They put on a great show. They are super talented, and they are also just pushing love and kindness and compassion all over the world. They are very vocal about that. If you don't know their music, you really gotta go listen. Oh, I should probably put in a clip because that's what I do sometimes. So you can listen to a little clip of one of their songs right now, and then you can go find more of it and buy all their stuff and support them as much as you can. Clip time, ready, set, go. Okay, so we did that, and I hope you enjoyed that music, and now I'm going to read the words to you. The first word is composed, composed, adjective from 1607, free from agitation. The synonym is calm, especially the synonym self-possessed. Interesting. I feel like that synonym took it in a whole other direction, though. That got much more narcissistic. There's another synonym. Usually you see this additional synonym at the end of multiple definitions, but there's only one, which already had two synonyms. It's the synonym cool. So cool and composed, and calm and self-possessed. Composedly is an adverb. It's very similar to supposedly. By the way, it's not supposably with a B in the middle there. It's supposedly. Don't say supposably. I don't know. You still get the idea. Composedness is a noun. Composedly, composedness. Be calm, self-possessed, and cool. Next is composer, noun from 1597. One that composes, especially a person who writes music. Oh, Monty Python has that great song, Decomposing Composers. That's a good one. Maybe I'll put in a little clip.
Beethoven's gone, but his music lives on, and Mozart don't go shopping no more. You'll never meet Liszt or Brahms again, and Elgar doesn't answer the door. They're decomposing composers, there's nothing much anyone can do. You can still hear Beethoven, but Beethoven cannot hear you.
Next is composing room. 2 words, noun from 1737. The department in a printing office where typesetting and related operations are performed. I just thought it was a room where a musician goes to write their music. Nope. Next is composing stick. 2 words. I just have this vision in my head that somebody takes a stick and starts smacking things with it, and you just get some music. This is a noun from 1659, a tray, but it's a stick. How can it be a tray? It's a stick. Anyway, a tray with an adjustable slide that a compositor holds in one hand and sets type into with the other. So yes, this must be used in the composing room, putting all the letters together to print it up. Next is composite. This is the first form. Let's see. I guess the Brits like to say composite. Composite, and in America and other places we say composite. This is an adjective from 1563. 1. Made up of distinct parts, maybe components, as 1a. This one would be capitalized. Relating to or being a modification of the Corinthian order, combining angular ionic volutes with the acanthus circled bell of the Corinthian. Moving right along, 1b, of or relating to a very large family of dicotyledonous herbs, shrubs, and trees, often considered to be the most highly evolved plants and characterized by florets arranged in dense heads that resemble single flowers. The family name is Compositae, and the whatever this next word is the Asteraceae. They are highly evolved. They considered to be the most highly evolved plants, which I think is, what does that mean exactly? Are they getting smarter? Can they do math? What do they look like? Okay, next is 1C. Also, why are they composites? What does it say? Does it describe this? I don't know. 1C, factorable into 2 or more prime factors other than 1 and itself, as in 8 is a positive composite integer. So you can factor out the number into 2 or more prime numbers. Prime number can't be factored down into further numbers. So 8, you can factor it down into 1, 2, 4, and 8, because 1 times 8 is 8 and 2 times 4 is 8. So that's why it is a composite. Next is number 2. Combining the typical or essential characteristics of individuals making up a group, as in, the composite man called the poet. That's a quote from Richard Poirier. Poirier? How do you say his last name? Poirier. Poirier. The composite man called the poet. Poet is capitalized. Number 3 is talking about a statistical hypothesis, and the definition says, specifying a range of values for one or more statistical parameters, and compare to, I guess this would be the number 10 definition for the word simple. Compositely is an adverb. Moving on to the second form of composite, noun from 1656, 1. Something composite. The synonym is compound. Compound. As in, a composite of 2 images. Number 2, a composite plant. We learned about those a little bit ago. Number 3, the synonym is composite function. 4, whoa, this is a long one. A solid material which is composed of 2 or more substances having different physical characteristics and in which each substance retains its identity while contributing desirable properties to the whole, especially a structural material made of plastic within which a fibrous material, as silicon carbide, is embedded. Third form of composite, this is a transitive verb from 1923, to make composite or into something composite, as in composited 4 soil samples, combining them together. Why would you do that? Also as in composite the images. Next is composite function, 2 words. This was one of the synonyms in the second form of composite. It is a noun from 1965. It is one long definition. This episode has much fewer words than normal, with either lots of definitions or very long definitions. So let's read composite function. A function whose values are found from two given functions by applying one function to an independent variable and then applying the second function to the result, and whose domain consists of those values of the independent variable for which the result yielded by the first function lies in the domain of the second. Wow. That sounds interesting. I mean, it does sound, I'm sure if somebody were to describe this to me with an example, it would make much more sense. We are actually on our last word now. It is composition, and it's going to go pretty good onto the next column. It is spelled composition. Composition. Noun from the 14th century. We got lots of definitions. 1a, the act or process of composing, specifically arrangement into specific proportion or relation, and especially into artistic form. 1b1, the arrangement of type for printing, as in hand composition. 1b2, the production of type or typographic characters arranged for printing. And the example of those typographic characters would be in photo composition, or the production of type is photo composition. Okay, 2a, the manner in which something is composed. 2b, general makeup. General makeup, as in the changing ethnic composition of the city. And that is a quote from Leonard Buder, B-U-D-E-R. Buder. 2c, the qualitative and quantitative makeup of a chemical compound. 3, mutual settlement or agreement. 4, a product of mixing or combining various elements or ingredients. 5, an intellectual creation, as 5a, a piece of writing, especially a school exercise in the form of a brief essay. You need to make a composition. 5b, a written piece of music, especially of considerable... Oh, usually when I see especially, it's a whole new thing. No, it's part of the definition. Where did we go? A written piece of music, especially of considerable size and complexity. That is why it's called a composition, because it's composed of lots of things, lots of components. 6, the quality or state of being compound. And 7, the operation of forming a composite function, also just the synonym composite function. Compositional is an adjective, and compositionally is an adverb. That was it. I finished this section. The words today were composed, composer, composing room, composing stick, composite, composite function, and composition. Well, I do very much like compositions, especially music compositions, but I think just because I enjoyed the idea of it in my head, not the actual definition, I'm going to pick composing stick as the word of the episode. I gotta compose some music. I'm gonna smack you with my stick. All right, let's read some holidays for what is today? November 14th. It is Children's Day in India. It's the birthday of Jawaharlal Nehru. In Guinea-Bissau, it is anniversary of the movement of readjustment. Maybe you gotta go to the chiropractor. In Colombia, it is Day of the Colombian Woman. In Indonesia, it is Mobile Brigade Day. In Romania, it is Dobruja Day. What about this page? What does it have to say? It is, let's see, in the UK, it is Remembrance Day. In Estonia, Finland, and Norway, it is Father's Day. In Germany, it is National Day of Mourning. That is Mourning. Let's see. I think we're going to save those for the next thing. It is more fun holiday time, International Girls' Day. Celebrate the girls. Oh, it looks like it might be a Girl Scout thing. The girls need education, and there shouldn't be anything different between boys and girls. International Tongue Twister Day. I swear we recently had, maybe it was National Tongue Twister Day, but this one's for all the languages in the world. Come up with a good tongue twister. It is Loosen Up, Lighten Up Day. Yes. National American Teddy Bear Day. National Family PJ Day. The whole family can hang out in their pajamas. National Pupusa Day. That is in El Salvador. Ooh, this is an important one. National Seatbelt Day. Wear your seatbelt, please, please, please. It's just you just do it. Just do it. It is National Spicy Guacamole Day. Oh yeah, gotta make me some spicy guacamole. It is Operating Room Nurse Day. They help give the doctor tools and towels and things, and they help to make sure that they don't leave any tools and towels inside your body. It is Orphan Sunday. Spirit of National Speakers Association Day. But just their spirit. What was this other one that I skipped? National Pickle Day. I, of course, ever since the show came out, I think of Pickle Rick. I mean, how can you not think of Pickle Rick from Rick and Morty? Also, I just think it's so funny that people have gotten so into pickling over the last year, probably because of the pandemic, and people started growing their own food, and then they had a lot, and they're like, what do I do with it? I know, I'll pickle it. I've gotten jars from my parents and my friend, and it's just very funny. I got more coming, I think. Okay, any other holidays on this page that we missed? We got that. It is Naraka Chaturdashi. What is this? Looks possibly Hindu? Yes, Hindu. Chances are, if it looks Indian in some way and I don't know what it is, it's probably Hindu. National Split Pea Soup Week. Ah, it's a week. They finally combined the weeks with the days on this page. And then finally, the last one. Is it the last one? Yes, it is World Diabetes Day. Now, some people are just born with diabetes. That's one of the types, and that's just a thing that they have to deal with. But the other type, I think, is often you get it from your livelihood, from the way you live, from your diet, and maybe your lack of exercise. So it is a very preventable thing, and it really, really messes people up. And it's a very bad disease. So, all you have to do, for most of you, is eat healthy, eat healthier, and exercise, and maybe you won't have to get your feet amputated. Okay, but if you do have to get your foot amputated, maybe ask if you can keep the bone. All right, I think that is it for this episode. Thank you very much for listening to this. Go let the people know about it, that you enjoy it, if you like it. If you don't like it, just keep your mouth shut. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. That is you. You are listening to this, so you are automatically a word nerd. Welcome to this podcast called The Dictionary. If you didn't know the name of it, I worry about you. I am Spencer. I will be the one who is doing this. Maybe I should promote this book again, One Day Smarter by Emily Winter. It is a trivia book. Hilarious random information to uplift and inspire. That's what the book says. Let's read a couple random things again. Elvis failed high school music class. Let's find another one. No one knows who named Earth. Nobody knows. That's all I got for that one. All right. I don't know how uplifting those were, but they sure were interesting. All right, let's read the words in this episode. The first one is compositionist. 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 Noun from 1985. A teacher of writing, especially in a college or university. Next is compositor. Noun from 1569. one who sets type. Yeah, we had a bunch of definitions in yesterday's episode about setting type in printing, and it's all compositions. Next word is compos mentis. This is two words, COMPOS, second word MENTIS, compos mentis, adjective from 1616, and it means of sound mind, memory, and understanding. This is Latin, and it literally means having mastery of one's mind. I'm still working on that. I hope you have compos mentis of sound memory. I have a feeling that they use this in medical situations, maybe just to see if somebody, if somebody's got Alzheimer's, they may not have compos mentis, and so that's where I think this probably gets used. In general, I do have compos mentis, though. All right, next is compost, and it looks like the Brits say compost, and we say compost. First form, noun from 1587. 1. A mixture that consists largely of decayed organic matter and is used for fertilizing and conditioning land. Number 2. The synonyms are mixture and compound. I don't really compost. We don't really have a place that I can do that, but my parents are doing the composting thing. I know a lot of people have started this. There is at work they gather compost stuff, so I'll put a few things together each week in a little Tupperware, and I'll take it to work. I'll take it to the office and put it in the composting bin. And I assume that it goes then to a bigger place where they put all the compost stuff together. And this is a really good way to get rid of organic material. It has to be, from food, anything that like grew from the ground or something like that, is compostable. We'll get to that probably soon, maybe? Maybe not. Yeah, I would love eventually to be able to do this, and it's just a great way to recycle organic stuff and use it in a productive way. Okay, second form of compost. It is a transitive verb from 1829, to convert as plant debris to compost. To convert to compost. Compostable is an adjective. That is a thing that can be composted. Composter is a noun. Next is composure. Noun from 1647. A calmness or repose, especially of mind, bearing, or appearance. As in, the synonym... you don't say as in. The synonym is self-possession. Another synonym is equanimity. Next is compote. Noun from 1693. 1. A dessert of fruit cooked in syrup. Compote. Number 2. A bowl of glass, porcelain, or metal, usually with a base and stem, from which compotes, fruits, nuts, or sweets are served. I was starting to wonder where that was going. A bowl of glass, porcelain, or metal, but it's also a dessert. It's the thing that holds the dessert. All right, next we have compound. First form, verb from the 14th century, starting with transitive. 1. To put together so as to form a whole. And the things, it gives an example, the things that you are putting together are just parts. The synonym is combine, as in the example, compound ingredients. Or as I now like to say, compound components. Compound components. Number 2, to form by combining parts, as in compound a medicine. 3a, to settle amicably, adjust by agreement. I'm not familiar with this one. Compound? Okay, 3b, to agree for a consideration not to prosecute. And the example of the thing that you are not prosecuting would be an offense, as in compound a felony. 4a, to pay interest on both the accrued interest and the principal. Oh boy, that money interest stuff. I'm dealing with that because I'm an adult. 4b, To add to. The synonym is augment, as in, we compounded our error in later policy. And that is a quote from Robert Lekachman? Lekachman. Lekachman. I wonder if there's any quotes in here that are from the same person. Are there more than one that are from the same person? I know I've seen like the Times Lit Sup a couple of times, but I don't know if I've seen, Shakespeare. I bet you Shakespeare has more than one. If anybody would like to keep track of that, go ahead. Now we are on intransitive definitions for compound. Number 1, to become joined in a compound. 2, to come to terms of agreement. Compoundable is an adjective and compounder is a noun. And let's see, going to pare down this etymology from Latin componere, which is com plus ponere, which means to put. And there's more at the word position. So when you compound things, you're just putting things together to make something else in general. Oh, wow. I didn't even realize this is actually our last word. Compound is the last word, and there are four forms, and they're sometimes pronounced slightly differently. Let's talk about the second form. It can be compound or compound. Those are really the only two ways. Adjective from the 14th century. 1, composed of or resulting from union of separate elements, ingredients, or parts. As 1a, composed of united similar elements, especially of a kind, usually independent, as in a compound plant ovary. 1b, having the blade divided to the midrib and forming 2 or more leaflets on a common axis. Is that talking about plants? It must be, yes, as in a compound leaf. You can probably hear my voice going. I've already recorded 2.5 episodes, and I have 1 more to go after this. Number 2, involving or used in a combination. 3a is talking about a word, and it just says constituting a compound. You used the word in the definition. 3b is talking about a sentence having 2 or more main clauses. I really should probably learn what a clause is. Oh, see what I did there? I didn't even mean to. Third form of compound, noun from 1530. 1a, a word consisting of components that are words. A word consisting of components that are words, as in, we got some examples of these words. Rowboat, high school, devil may care. So it's just a compound of words to make a new word. 1b, a word consisting of any of various combinations of words combining forms or affixes. And there are some examples. Anthropology, kilocycle, and builder. A word consisting of any of various combinations of words, I guess. So yes, it's combining. I don't know. Isn't that what a lot of words are? I don't know. Number 2, something formed by a union of elements or parts, especially a distinct substance formed by chemical union of 2 or more ingredients in definite proportion by weight. And the fourth form of compound, it is a noun from 1679, a fenced or walled-in area containing a group of buildings and especially residences. And every time I think of one of these, I think of The Walking Dead or other zombie things, because you gotta find some sort of compound to live in with other people, and sometimes you gotta go take out the zombies so they don't keep on making new zombies. The etymology says it is by folk etymology from the Malay word kampung, which is a group of buildings or a village, and their word is spelled Kampung. I had no idea. I just figured a compound was a collection of things, of components, to make a larger thing, because that makes sense to me. So the words in this episode today were compositionist, compositor, compos mentis, compost, composure, compote, compound. I think I shall pick compost as the word of the episode, both the act of composting and the compost itself, because I think that if you can, set aside your organic materials and compost it in some way. You can organize a pickup. Somebody can pick it up from you, or you can drop it off. But I think we just need to be much better about recycling our stuff and not making things worse. Okay, I think this is the time to read the holidays. In the US, it is America Recycles Day. In the German-speaking community of Belgium, it is Day of the German-speaking community of Belgium. That's really spot on. Internationally, it is Day of the Imprisoned Writer. It is Independence Day in Palestine. In Belgium, well, that's a whole ball of wax that we're not getting into. In Belgium, it is King's Feast. In Sri Lanka, it is National Tree Planting Day. Yes, please plant more trees. Also, stop cutting down the trees. Maybe we should start there. In the Ivory Coast, it is Peace Day. In Brazil, it is Republic Proclamation Day. In Japan, it is Shishi Gosan. Eastern Orthodox, it is the beginning of Winter Lent. I didn't know there was a Winter Lent. It is in the U.S. National Philanthropy Day. That's also in Canada. In the UK is World COPD Day. Colombia has Cartagena Independence Day. In Mexico, it is Mexican Revolution Day. In Brazil, I think we already said that one. Let's go to the fun holidays. American Enterprise Day. Let's see. George Spelvin Day. And it shows a picture of a theater. So maybe he was a theater person. It is I Love to Write Day. Today is a good day to do some writing, I guess. Little Red Wagon Day. National Bunt Day. That is the dessert bunt, B-U-N-D-T. National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day. National Raisin Bran Cereal Day. National Spicy Hermit Cookie Day. What is a hermit cookie? I have never heard of a hermit cookie. Pack Your Mom's Lunch Day. Usually the moms are doing the packing of the food, but maybe you can help out your mom and pack her some lunch. Maybe you should ask her what she wants first. It is Steve Irwin Day. I'm assuming today was his birthday. Man, that guy, he died way too young, but he sure did a lot of stuff. He was great. It is Odd Socks Day, National Drummer Day, Govardhan Puja, or Puja, and Book Week Scotland. Book Week Scotland. I think that's it. I am really enjoying this National Philanthropy Day. We need more people to be philanthropists. If you can help out some person in some way, financially or other ways, just do what you can. Do what you can. All right. That is it for this episode. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, which is tomorrow. Maybe it's mere seconds for you. This has been Spencer Dispensing Information. Goodbye.